is branding settings. So there are three parts in here. One first says Navicon. So Navicon is the icon that appears at the tab of the web browser when it's open. So you can choose which one you want. So what I'm doing is taking the
So sorry, Alex, to butt in. So if they are going to supply a Navicon, what are there any particular sizes, JPEG, PNG? What would you advise?
Yep, it needs to be PNG file, so it has transparency, ideally, and ideally that would be the size that you normally see at the browsers. I don't know, something like 64 pixels across, so not really large.
So ideally something square, or does that not matter?
It does not matter, but in order to look better, it's better be square.
Right, so square, so ideally square, PNG, I'll just put this in the chat, square, PNG, and roughly about 64 pixels by 64 pixels.
Yeah, something like that. So you basically just click change, drag and drop the pictures that you got into the corresponding section, which is either Navicon or splash screen background or login banner. Then there is a save button at the top, you save it.
Okay, and sorry to butt in again. So as far as the splash screen background and the login banner, what does it, can you again provide some advice on sizes and file formats?
File format doesn't matter as long as it's supported by the web browser. So with JPEG or PNG doesn't matter.
Okay.
Splash screen ideally should cover the entire screen, so the larger the better. And login banner is something that appears at the middle of the login screen. You will see it now. I'll show you the effect of what we just done. So I'm going to the UI. I'm not sure what is the right view for that, but anyway, let's try view all.
You mute us.
Yeah. So here we go. So
not muted yet.
This logo item picture appears here. So if you want it corrected, just cut the white space around it, make it more to the size that you want, and update the picture.
So I've got a couple of questions for you, Alex. So is there any way that we can position, what can we do about the login box being, because the login box is part of the page, that's not a separate form, is it?
Not sure I understand what you're saying.
Well, so that login square box that I'm looking at with the login and password, that's not a pop-up or anything like that. That's hard-coded into the page. We're looking at one page there, aren't we?
We're looking at the login page. Yes.
Yeah. So if you wanted the logo, the big yellow and gray TeleTracker logo to appear further up the screen so that it's not blocked partially by the login box, is that possible?
Yeah, you need to edit the picture.
Right. Okay, so
it's a matter of setting up the picture that you see in the background.
Yeah, because
Mallory, can you do that?
Yeah, I should be able to do that.
Okay, great. She's pretty good with Photoshop, so.
Okay, because that whole background image is the landing page with a logo on it, because I think they gave us separate assets. So I think they gave us a landing page, which I think had a bit of a sort of outline globe.
I got to use a computer, can you?
I'm just using ours.
Can I mute you guys because I can't hear myself think when I hear the background noise? Sorry. So Alex, the yellow and gray logo, that's part of the landing page. That's not a logo on top of the landing page. That is the landing page.
Yeah, let me try to understand what it's saying. So there is a picture in the background, which
Yeah.
has this yellow TeleTracker, yellow-gray TeleTracker and this GeoTel part of it.
Yeah.
There is a gray square on the top of it, which is a login form,
Yeah.
which allows the user to enter the login and password. It contains another picture in it, which we call logo banner.
Yeah.
I'll try to open it in Photoshop. So that would be the Photoshop of it. So in order to make that login banner better, what I would suggest is to do something like this. Cut it to the closest possible size.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then maybe.
And I'll share my screen in a minute and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This will make more sense. I'm not explaining myself very well, but it will make more sense when I share my screen and show you.
Yeah, then save that as maybe, I don't know, JPEG.
I can't see your other screen, by the way, so I can only see your Chrome browser.
You can only see Chrome browser. All right.
Yeah.
I think that's because I'm sharing the particular window, not a screen. So yeah, screen 2, screen 3. Yeah, that one. Now you should see. All right. So yeah, so that's me just doing a bit of the photoshopping for you. So so what I'm doing here is should have download somewhere. Yeah, downloads. TeleTracker online. So let's say login and stream. All right. So now we go back here and say change, and let's say the logo trimmed, upload, and go save. We go to this page again and load it. So what I expect to see is this. So see this GeoTel banner just got somewhat better.
Yeah.
So this is a way to approach this. So you can manipulate it.
I'll share my screen.
Same for background. Okay.
I'll share my screen and then I'll hand it back to you. Okay. So you see this page here? Okay. So I don't know if you can see it. It's very faint, but I think this is an outline of a map here and then possibly a cable here. So this logo is actually separate from this background image. You can just see this faint outline. I think that's sort of Mexico there coming into South America. And I think this is North America up here. So this white background with a very faint outline of the world is a separate file from this yellow and gray logo. So what they could do though, I guess, Alex, is embed this logo, or even I could do it, into this background image and move it further up the screen, and then that will work better. Yes? Yes, this is correct. So yeah, I think because what we've only added is this yellow logo, not this background, white background, which has got, I don't know if it's coming through on your screen, but there's a very faint banner. Does. You can actually see it. It's there. In the background. So these are two separate things, but we can join them together, move the logo higher up, and then that will work, won't it? Yes. So I would recommend take a screenshot of your web browser view with our login dialog on it. Yeah. Open it in Photoshop, so you could see what you're doing with your background image when the pop-up with the login is present in the picture. Yeah. Cut and leave it as it there, and then adjust your background accordingly. So the design, the overall design would make sense. Yeah. And then save it. And okay, I'll have a go at that for them, and then I'll explain how I did it so that Valerie or whoever can do it. Would you mind sharing your screen again, please? Don't mind at all.
Yep. So that's my screen.
Great.
See it?
Okay. Yeah. So I think I can work out how I can bring in that background image. I think you've got it actually. Yeah. I think you've already got it. I can see faint bits
Yes.
there. Yeah. Sorry. So it's not just a. So what I need to do now is just move this logo up, which I know how to do. So can we just talk about Mark and I were talking about terms and conditions box. We think that we need 2 terms and conditions because we've got our terms and conditions of use for the Bruce software, but you've also got the terms and conditions of the use of the TeleTracker system. And I don't think we want to be, we talked about the sort of best short-term fix is to essentially have 2 checkboxes and one for our terms and conditions and one for theirs. We could try and merge them, but then it means that we're responsible for merging 2 documents. And the trouble is, I think this functionality here, this terms conditions functionality is the same on every Bruce account, isn't it? We don't have different versions of this login page, do we?
I don't think so. You want to unmute those guys? Maybe they're free.
No, I was talking about talking to Alex actually. You're on mute, Alex.
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Oh yeah. So where are we? Yeah. So what we have here is this link terms and conditions. Is intention was that it pop up the page which loads the text from CMS systems that we have behind the scenes, so we can manage this terms and condition text. So what we could potentially do is load 2 texts instead of 1. So that would be one approach. So we would have one page that joins 2 texts together.
Yeah.
But they will be separate. So they would have a separate headings of the both texts. That's one.
Yeah.
Another approach is you give us the URL of some page that contains TeleTracker terms and conditions, and we add another section in this settings area where you can just paste your link and the text for the link, and it will appear here as an additional URL to click.
Yes, and you could switch that on and off. So you could as well as edit the URL, because some customers of ours are not going to need that functionality. They'll be just happy the user accepting our terms and conditions.
It will be a client account specific. So since those are the settings for this specific client account, then if you set it up on that specific client account, it will appear on that specific client account. Brilliant. It will not appear on any other. So that's doesn't compromise our own terms and conditions. So that should work.
Cool. Okay. So if we could do that, I think that would be really useful. And then what about the privacy policy and contact and the copyright? How do Geotel edit that, especially if their privacy policy changes or the URL changes? If we go into a new year and the all rights reserved needs to change the date.
Same way. We will have to add sections here.
Yeah.
That you can add your URLs to. Yeah. One for terms and conditions, one for contact, one for privacy or what is there.
Okay.
The other one. So, and each section would be URL that leads to some page elsewhere.
Yeah.
Where you
you
post the corresponding details.
Okay, so it's the tool is 3/5 done. We need to do those other 2/5. Have you? Is that a big job for a developer to do? I mean, and second question is,
no, it's not a big job. We can get it done fairly quickly.
Okay, great. So if we need to hear back from Geotel that sounds acceptable. I suspect it is, but let's get confirmation from them, and then if yes, let's get those changes made. But this functionality, I'll improve the page today.
Do you have the terms and conditions?
And then, but this is live now, isn't it? In the account.
Yes, it is live now in the
Yeah.
account. So we still have a couple little steps to take for TeleTrackerOnline.com to become live. So I'll
Yeah, so
show you what
let's if you could speak to Valerie then, because I know you're working with Valerie on that. So
TeleTrackerOnline.com. So if you go there now, what
Yeah.
you see in response is this. So this confirms that the routing works, so that DNS settings partially work correctly. It routes the signal to our website. So one thing for me to do is to enable this account on this domain name, which is going to be done, I think, today.
Yeah.
One second thing to be done, which we need to coordinate with Valerie, is HTTPS connection, which is a certified safe connection.
Yeah.
Secure. So see, that says not secure. And the reason for that is because we were unable to issue a new SSL certificate for the domain name. The reason being is the Amazon request for issuing certificate expired before the DNS changes we requested were done. So now we need to do it again. I will go to Amazon, request a new certificate. They will again ask us to validate the ownership of the domain name. And then I will send Valerie again a new request to update DNS CNAME settings to confirm. If they done in time,
Yeah. So
and correctly, the
yeah.
Amazon will validate it, and there will be a new certificate which we will attach to this name on our site, and it will work for HTTPS too.
Okay, so just to, it's Thursday here in New Zealand, so we've got sort of 2 working days left. Does something need to happen by a certain time this week, or is there a danger that Valerie emails something on Friday US, which is Saturday New Zealand, and then we don't deal with it until Monday New Zealand, which is Sunday US, and we go round and round in circles again? Does something need to happen by a certain time?
No, it's all right. It's just for our good friends, being Kevin and his team, I'm quite willing to do something Saturday or Sunday if it comes to that. It's all right. So
yeah, we're not doing it for Kevin and Peter. We're doing it for Eric, Dave, and Valerie. We don't care
even
about.
More, so yeah.
Yeah, we don't care about Kevin and Peter.
Okay, so now which
Oh,
we
Hey, I'm the guy with the COVID shot. All right.
Yeah.
So
Well, it sounds like our friends in Florida are being arrested right now. So, yeah, I'm not sure we're going to get much out of them for the next few weeks. Okay, so can I ask how we're getting on with testing? I haven't looked at the Google sheet this morning. I mean, is everybody hitting on the service just to come up with comments?
yeah, I mean, I
I'm
started
not seeing anything
earlier
at the
this
moment.
morning. Huh?
I'm not seeing anything in there at the moment, so I can only assume the service is perfect.
Well, I think it might be. Eric and Dave and Valerie, have you guys done any testing this morning or today?
Yeah, I did some testing. I haven't made any comments. I was able to change the FLB icon and test load it in Phoenix. And I was also testing some of the other load times. For the areas in Phoenix, they were all right. But yeah, I didn't leave any comments or anything, and I don't believe Eric or Dave has either.
So the 3 main layers that we talked about yesterday are those are looking like they're functioning the way you want, at least acceptable at this stage.
Do you know if they're live all over the U.S.? Because I know they weren't live in Florida last time we talked.
I believe they are all done. All the data has been uploaded based on my understanding on what you guys need. But off the top of my head, can you kind of confirm it? What are the 3 layers that is kind of urgent to you guys?
Fiber lit buildings, fiber routes, and cell towers.
Okay, cell tower is done. Fiber lit building was done as of last night. and fiber route was done this morning. So you pretty much have everything I can bring in. The only thing that I don't have is the tagging of the data. That is probably, I have to talk with Alex. Al, how do we scale it? Because it's like a pretty kind of daunting job because it's all United States. But confirm with me, Alex, is that true or not? Unless I can find a way to do it another way. What Matt V showed me is kind of very kind of tedious.
Sorry, say again.
The tagging of the data, because they want to have different.
Yes, tagging of the data is work in progress on our end. We haven't quite finished the functionality that allows you to do that.
Okay.
It's expected soon.
Okay. Just want to. Yeah.
So it will be soon, but
okay. Let me know when you want to test it. I'm more than happy to kind of volunteer my time to see if I can help you guys out.
You will be the first to know.
Okay, perfect.
Can we use, if we provide some customer experience now with untagged data, if it works, when it gets tagged, is there going to be any shut off or interruption in services or anything like that? In other words, if they expose this to some of their close customers tomorrow, let's just say, and then you guys finish the tagging and we've got a better version, is there some sort of interruption that would occur to those early customers?
I think that one's more Alex, but based on my understanding, it shouldn't affect because it's just a way of kind of managing the database in more like if you want to see certain states, you can tag it so that only those database for those states shows up, or some category that you guys will come up with so that you can actually contain certain database for a certain customer to show up.
So we just,
yeah.
So the tags, once the data is tagged, then there's some data relationship work that Dave and Eric and Valerie are thinking about, and they go, okay, let's do it. Let's just, they just refresh the sites. They just all,
no,
they would just refresh
nothing to
them,
refresh. It just automatically, we just have to create the condition on the menu items on the left-hand side where, for example, AT&T, like a tag for all AT&T in fiber route will only show those fiber routes that has AT&T in it, things like that, simple things like that. Yeah.
Right.
I hope I'm right, Alex.
Yeah, in short, tags needed for filtering the data. So without them, you will see all the data. If you want to limit the access to the data, we will need to introduce those tags to filter out the data that you don't want to see. Otherwise, you're going to see all. That's in short, that's what it is.
You got that, Eric and Dave and Valerie?
Yes, definitely. With the tags?
Yeah, what the tags mean and what it means to the data right now being fully exposed in its current form, but with tags you can filter.
Right. So we, in theory, we should be able to throw 4 or 5 people up there that have all USA things for those 3 data sets and just let them go bang on a kind of this little soft launch kind of thing.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yep, more testing too.
Yeah, how to get the URL to them. How do we give it to them?
Okay.
If we were to provide a soft launch, how would we provide, what URL would we provide and that information for them and a login?
I would suggest wait for us to enable SSL certificate for TeleTrackerOnline.com first. Once that happens, you will know, and then TeleTrackerOnline.com would be the way to go.
Well, that could take 2 or 3 days. Then we're into a weekend. Then we're into next week, and there's something we can use right now.
Yes, UAT sites that we're currently displaying to you, the teletracker.ui.nextspace-uat.net.
Right. Can you send that link to us so we can?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that.
So that is
And so
something
for
immediately available.
Each project view that is available within the project view menu, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I think I know where to find it.
Yeah.
And we just issue the email addresses and off we go. They'll just have all of their stuff on it.
And then we can create the users for each project view as well today, right?
I think so. Yep.
Just to be clear, you can create users for project views as opposed to users for accounts.
You create them for accounts, and then you would have to enable them for the project view in restricted mode. So what happens there is you go to project view.
Right. Would you mind demonstrating that now?
Then you add the users in.
Yeah, I'm still recording that. So why don't you add Valerie or someone like that as a.
Yeah, so in your project view, if you open the project view, there is a section called login required.
Yeah.
And then underneath there is access restricted. So if you enable both and then go to access control, then you would be able to say what users should see this view. And then you can create a new group if you want, and you can say test.
Yeah, why don't you call it GeoTel test or something like that?
Something like that.
Okay.
And then you say you enable this group for this view, and then you add existing users to it. So whoever you want, and then just type the name, search, add, and that will be the only users who can see this view.
So if you don't have an existing user, what do you do then?
You would have to go to users and you go invite.
Yeah.
And you type their email address and you send invite. And
yeah. What happens if you want to set up a user without having to need to invite them? Because then you're relying on them having to.
Yes, they have to create their own password, and it's up to them to choose what password it is, and it's supposed to be private thing that other people don't know. So that is the reason why we sent an invite and they invited to create their password first, unless they already have one. If they already registered in our system, then they don't have to. They can just use the password logins they have. If they don't, then this is a procedure you'd have to be followed, because otherwise.
Yeah, but but let's just say we're setting up an existing or new customer. So let's just call them Lake Mary Inc. So let's say there's only one user for Lake Mary Inc. and that person is called Alex Eachus. So so you would set up the user Alex Eachus at lakemary.com. Have you got to wait until they accept that invite before you can then add them to a group, to a project view?
No, you can. They don't have to wait. Once you send an invitation, that already registered the user record in our system against their known email address.
Yes.
And then you can use this email address as not yet confirmed person that. Or you can already manage their access permissions even before they accept it.
Okay, so let's just make sure that that's clear. Okay, so I set up Alex Eachus at lakemaryinc.com. I don't need to wait until they've responded to that invite, and then I can then add them as a user against a specific project view. So restricted, those two checkboxes that you showed us. Yes. And then once they accept that invite and select their own password, they will only ever be able to see the information within that project view and nothing else.
Yes.
Okay. Good. One thing I did see, Alex, which we might need to think about. Could you go back to project views? Could you go through the process of setting up a user? Okay, so just pretend to add a user. Stop right there. So at no point should anybody, there should not, that list of users there should be, that's a flaw that we need to fix. For confidentiality reasons, you shouldn't be able to see other names and addresses there.
Okay, yeah, we'll need to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, GeoTel should not know that Christchurch City Council have a email address and vice versa.
Well, if we're the admins, shouldn't we be able to see all the different user IDs that we do have within the application?
Well, you're seeing all the users for every one of our customers.
Oh, got you. I'm sorry, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we just want the ones
probably
for our tally.
Yeah, you should only see the users that are within your domain. You're basically
Exactly.
seeing every one of our users there.
Understood.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah, so yes, that's a fair point. We will have to fix that.
Yeah.
We'll restrict the list of the users to only users so far invited to this account.
Yeah, it's especially an issue in somewhere like, well, it's an issue full stop, but it's an even bigger issue in the EU because we're essentially sharing data unwittingly, but sharing data without the permission of the user.
Europeans have a lot to hide, so yeah.
Yes.
Eric, you got to promise not to tell anybody.
I'm not worried about them seeing our data.
Oh, that's true. We don't want them seeing our users either.
Yeah, exactly. You guys got the FBI as a customer.
Yeah, they're not going to see your data, but they are going to see names of users. So that's something I think we need to address soonish.
At least the administrators are, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So Alex and Valerie, if you could back and forth on the finishing up the domain and the HTTPS. I'll edit the landing page and logo, so the logo sits above the login box, and then Alex, I'll send in a request to add those two items to the settings functionality that allows the second terms and conditions box, and then the ability to edit the footer.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right,
And
great.
Can you send the video today, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And then Peter, can you support Valerie if she wants to dive in for those 4 or 5 key customers?
Right on.
Yep, I'm here.
Thank
Let me
you.
know when
Okay.
you guys want to get on the horn. I'll be here.
Okay, Valerie.
Peter,
So,
Peter, we're
I'll be there.
planning to do that like in the next 15 or 20 minutes. So we'll be calling
Okay.
you shortly.
We need to
Yeah,
do that.
send me the invite.
Okay, we'll do.
Thank you.
Okay. Nice to talk to you all. See you
Thank
later.
you. Thank you very much,
Bye.
Alex and
Thanks, guys.
Alex.
Okay. Cheers. See you later.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Have
Thanks,
a nice
everybody.
day.